Hey, y'all, and good morning. It's another week. It's another time to get to work. Got some work to do. We'll put on the chill hop music. Hopefully, the chill hop music won't decide to, I'm just doing some last minute touches on this because I realized I didn't put highlights on this side of the helicopter, and I wanted to kind of just do a couple of things like so. Just kind of make this have some whirly whirlies going for it. Right. That probably won't look like that. It would look like kind of like this. There we go. Giving some highlights to the side of the car. There's a hand there. Just didn't do that side, that's all. And I also feel like I didn't. Right here. I could have done this on the actual piece itself. That would have been cool. But honestly, my white pens, my white paint pens, which is what I would have used for this, they're not as, I don't know, they're not as good at this. They're messy. I don't get kind of the control I get like this. I really like this control. It makes for a much cooler looking picture. So there we go. Let's see if I can't find the back tightening card. Look to see if I can't find the largest version of it. And that one's a little, they've deep with it. I'm looking to see if I can't find that. I'm not the only one that thinks that Mech Titan needed to be this way. Oh, hey, that worked. Alrighty. I'm just going to load the Mech Titan card. Like so. So this is the actual token. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, me too. You feeling left out downstairs? Mom's downstairs. She's not talking to you. Not scratching you. Not giving you scratches. I can see that being a problem. I kind of feel like if it's legendary mode. I'm not alone on this, by the way. I am seeing Avas. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff here for the Mech Titan. I'm not the only crazy guy who thinks that the Mech Titan needs to full art. So this is the full art card. Okay. That's fine. and take out their copyright, but only because it's not them, it's me. I can't even see it. There we go. Start there. All right. All right. Now comes the tricky part.
The front door is open.
If you look at these cards, this area right here is actually white and slightly transparent. There we go. And technically, this is kind of transparent up here, but this one's much more transparent. So
The front door is open.
guess what? The front door is open. All right. Now what we've done is make it so you can see QuaCk Titan through, and we'll be able to see the entire background of this. So I'm actually going to not undo that, but then go to here and say delete as well, so that we can see through, partially see through this guy right here. It's not really 82. I feel like he's like more like 85. There's enough that you can see that, right? We can all see that. We're good. All right, what font? Gaudy Medieval, huh? All right. Going to install the font Implantin, which is the font that magic cards use. We may have to save this guy and restart clip. We'll see. I don't know whether it'll show up or not. We'll check. I didn't think so. That's all right. We're going to save it and we're going to reboot the clip. save this one because this is the next project on our to-do list. Down. And back up. All right, now we should have an plant. A lot of fonts here. There we go. Okay. Let justify. Increase it to the correct size. It has a little bit of a kerning difference, but not much. And there we go. Now let's fix that background. I'm going to make exactly one of these, by the way, folks. So I'm not imposing on anybody's copyrights. I'm going to make one for me, so that whenever I actually manage to create Mech Titan, I will have my own Mech Titan card. I'm just saying. I'm going to try a lot of these out and see what happens. That isn't bad. Right? I mean, like, we could go with just green in the background. That'd be kind of cool. That works. There we go. Now I have finished my modified Mech Titan card, which is all I really wanted to do. It was the entire point behind drawing Vehicle Ultron, so that I could make my own Mech Titan card. That was it. That was the whole kit and caboodle. That was the point. So there you go. Meow, 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 meow. Okay. As you were. As you often are. Perfect. Now we can call this job done. Right? We can call that job done. Are you good with it being done? You good with getting scritches? Scritches. You little cat. Okay. And this is that time where let's start thinking this through. Okay. I feel like I need to kind of brainstorm a little here. So we're going to brainstorm. Okay. I'm just going to put a blank piece of paper on here. I'm going to start thinking it through. Okay. Uh-oh. Now we're having connection issues. We've never had connection issues before. Looks like all my streams look solid though. All right, and looks like all's good, except for Quasar Art Collective. Looks like it's starting to crash out for reasons. Interesting. All right. All right, quackers, let's get to work. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to think it out. So I know I want 3 acts in this. Each one of these acts needs to, first of all, we have to remember that part of this story is that this is also over here, all of it is Act 3 of the bigger story, right? So I'm kind of having to think two different parts of a story. First of all, I love to do beginning, middle, end sub stories that are really nicely arced. So we've got to think of the arc. And what is the solution that we're after here? For the resolution of Act 3 on this one, we've already sort of started the what happened to moment. Right? Right? That's the question we're trying to answer. Now, the reality is, I can't answer that without giving away much more of the bigger plot. Knowing that that's the case, I'm suffering a little bit from being too close to the larger plot and not close enough to the moment, if you will, to this central part of this story. So I'm thinking out loud, and you're joining me while I think out loud. I think all two of you. That's totally fine. If you have any thoughts, go on ahead and type them in the thread. I'm all about this. In the first two acts of this comic, we already established the moment. We established that something happened at the moment. It has moved in space. I think that we're going to establish in this comic the bad guys of the story, which is the Commonwealth. We're going to see them over here, and I want to kind of pin this entire thing on the Commonwealth somehow, so that it red herrings the story. So we've got two things to solve here. One is what happened at moment, and the other thing we have to solve is who is Alex? Right? These are the two questions that we want to ask and answer in this thought process. Right? So on this side, what I'm doing here is you notice that I am splitting sort of my story down the middle. Over here is going to be the large arc of the story, which actually probably should be more like this, so that I remind myself that the large arc of the story is important, but not as important as the small arc of the story. On this side, we're going to have things like, parts of the story that are important. What's important in this act is that we introduce, or we oh no, it's a Commonwealth ship, right? Then we have Act 2 is where you take whatever it is that they've got to resolve and complicate it, right? So instead of having it just be, because it's a 2-act play, if it's, oh no, it's a Commonwealth ship, and then we blow up the ship, or whatever. Commonwealth ship goes away, right? Right? So that's the end of that plot. In the middle here, we have to complicate the situation somehow. Like this would be in a classic TV show, the Commonwealth ship will show up, and then Act 2 is where they kidnap the captain. They're not going to really do that in my stories because that's so tropey that I'm not even going to get near it. right? So we kind of want to think of what an Act 2 would look like if you didn't have a tropey middle section there. Good second act complications. Right. Second act problems that we as writers, artists, entrepreneurs, and plain human beings can profit from. Act 1 is easy. You come up with some crazy idea and heave it against the wall. Act 3 isn't that hard either. We figured out where we're going. We just need to tromp on the accelerator and go there. But Act 2. A joke from the Algonquin Round Table, which Emmett writes. A couple of guys are sitting around talking. One says, "How's the play going?" The other says, "I'm having second act problems." Everybody laughs. Of course you're having second act problems. What makes Act 2 so hard is it's too much like real life. In an analysis of world myth, Joseph Campbell, whom I'm a big fan of, calls this period "in the belly of the beast," the time in which is not the beginning and not the end. Time in which the artist and the protagonist doubt themselves and wish the journey had never begun. This is the slough of despair. I had prepared for anything but the best. The other nasty aspect of Act 2 is it's glamorous, it's unromantic, its problems are boring. In the middle term, the high-minded goal of Act 1 has devolved into what seems like a quotidian? Wow, never even heard that word. Mechanical and ordinary drudgery. Now we're trying to establish a Jewish homeland, but negotiating a contract with a stationer to supply the papers so that we may write fundraising letters. That's exactly what's kind of going on here. We're looking at Act 2, and I'm sitting here going, in our life and our art, Act 2 can come at any time in our lives. It doesn't have to wait for our middle years. In Act 2 at 19. In Act 2, we're stuck. We started out with a noble goal, and draining the swamp, suddenly we find ourselves up to our butts in alligators, right? Epicenter of resistance. How do you fix this? What exactly do we want in our second act? We want to get to Act 3. We want a participation in the end struggle. The granting of the hero's wish engendered in the middle term for a clear-cut fight, which would absolutely resolve the question at hand. Now, I have always heard of Act 2 referred to as complicating Act 1. So, oh no, it's a Commonwealth ship, Act 2. Oh no, the Commonwealth ship's actually full of a band of raiders. I don't know. You have to deal with the raiders too. Act 3, fix the raiders and the Commonwealth ship. Usually taking the raiders against the Commonwealth ship. Sort of thing. So you've got kind of this complication that ends up somehow managing to wrap it all up real nice. So it says the true drama, and especially the tragedy, calls for the hero to exercise will, to create in front of us on the stage his or her own character, the strength to continue. It is her striving to understand, to correctly assess, to face her own character that inspires us and gives the drama power to cleanse and enrich our own character. So let's look at that with an analysis. We've got to somehow drag Chang down in here, right? That's what's going to happen. Something is going to have to go sour for poor Chang. And that's our Act 2. We know we're going to have something like this. So the question is what? What do we challenge Chang on? What can we challenge Chang on with the Commonwealth ship? What does that challenge her? let's think through her character, because if nothing else, the best thing I could do here is give you a little bit more character to work with. How are you working with Jane, right? What kind of character is she? I mean, one of these things is to hit her in her weak spot. We could easily go for the low hanging fruit there and smack her in the face with the entire thing that she had with her daughter. That's certainly an option. One of my favorite options, because it seems like a go-to spot with her. But you don't know that that's her go-to spot at this point. So uh, yeah. So I don't think the audience knows about her daughter. So I think that what can happen is we have to hit Chang on the daughter thing, because you haven't met her yet, right? You haven't met as far as, I mean, people who've been on my stream know all about Chang's daughter Sarah, but the audience who's reading through this doesn't. And so that's important. You've got to kind of get in there and dig a little bit onto Chang, otherwise you don't know that she's got a problem with this, right? You won't know this. So how does the Commonwealth ship, how does some random captain pick on her for that? You know what I mean? Like, how do we get into that? That's where I'm going to have to think. So let's pause that for a moment and come over here to the green side, and let's figure out what we're doing over here. So we're going to, here in this arc, we're going to have two threads that are going on. And we only need two scenes. One, we need Alex is lying to Chang. That's important. Originally, I was going to have Alex come clean and tell Chang everything right here. But if she does, then we're never going to be able to figure it all out. So making it a bigger lie might even be workable here, thinking this through. So if we say Alex tells Chang a lie about Commonwealth experiments. That's probably the best way to set this up. Right, so we're setting up the idea here that Alex says, I saw what happened, They were setting up a huge experiment with this big device that did something, and there were all kinds of little, you know, bumps in the universe or whatever that happened, yada yada yada. So she's making up stuff out of whole cloth to deflect away from what actually happened. Alex knows what actually happened, although she's not quite sure how it all occurred. She's pretty sure she knows what's going on. So, since Alex knows that, we're going to have to actually don't ever do that again, because we did this the other day. All right. So, one of the things we're going to do here is we're going to erase this real quick, because I actually want to complicate this more. This is the old, how do you think these things through, guy? This is how I think these things through. I talk it out. Thank you for being my talk it out people. Even though, you know, you don't have a choice. Alex and AI, which doesn't have a name yet. Talk about teaching. There we go. That's the closing scene of the comic. Whatever epilogue happens over here on this side, we're going to make sure that the last piece, the lead to the next issue, becomes that. There you go. The only people who ever respond to my pictures on Instagram are always just, you know, the only people who actually say anything are DM this to blah blah blah, and it's like, that's fine, but why? All right. Okay. Oh, gotta stand up. Yeah. 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 You want scratches? You can come up here. You want to come up here? You can come up here. Yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of close to scritches up here. But if you're up here, everybody else can see you too. See, then you can get scritches and you can visit with everybody. We'll have our quantified George moment here. Don't go anywhere. You want scritches, yeah? This is the way to get scritches. This is the best way to get scritches, George. George is a happy cat. And I love George. George is a good cat, aren't you, George? With lots of paw. You like it when I scratch your tongue, don't you? I don't know what you're looking at. Goofy cat. All right. George Breakover. Now that I've set up sort of a concept around the outside of what I want to do here, I want to start digging on the inside of the story. I just scritched you, you goofball. Why are you back up here for scritches? Back up here to be pest. You're like, but I can get more scritches. I'm going to eat your stylus. You slobber stylus. Clearly, we know who's the boss here. Clearly, we know who the boss is. Yeah, we know who the boss is. You're the boss. You're the one who runs the show. Georgie's the one who runs the show. That's who Georgie is. You're the show. Goofy cat. Oh, I think I've got this scritchy thing over here. There we go. You like the scritchy thing? Oh, you like the scritchy thing. There we go. We can do this. Oh, yeah. You like the scritchy thing. It's a back scratcher. This is a cat's back, so this works. Right? Right? It's a cat's back. Usually what you got. Yeah. Apparently we are having cat scritchy time instead of drawing time. That's what we're doing today. We're having George scritchy time. No, but don't claw, okay? Remember not to claw. That's not what you do up here. don't knock my goofy. Don't knock my coffee over either. You know, you make this difficult to do work. Let's just say you're doing it wrong. Gotcha. Okay, can I get a door? Am I allowed? Weird. Okay. I'm trying to decide. So one of the things that we've got to deal with here is that I need a captain of the Commonwealth ship. We need a captain of the Commonwealth ship. You know that, right? Such a goofball. Well, I'm kind of losing coherency on my stream now. Like, not 100% sure what I want to do at this point. Kind of thinking it through. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I need to bake on this a little, like cook on it a little and see what happens. We're going to have to definitely think about how we're dealing with hitting Chang on the daughter thing, because that's going to be an important kind of discussion topic. But it involves Chang doing Chang's things, where it's, you know, so I have to think about how this works with Chang. I don't know. I may cut the stream short today. Once somebody shows up in the next few minutes to help me figure this stuff out. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to talk it over with somebody at some point here, which is fine. That's okay. We can do that. So, okay, well, and probably what we're going to do is call this for the moment. And we'll call that one good to go for the moment, and I will, yeah, I think I'll roll out for the moment, and we'll work on this a little later on. So, because nobody's here, and it's all good, but I'm just not thinking things through yet. So what I'll probably do is head on over. I'm going to tell the folks at Quasar that all right. Give them a minute or two to kind of trickle that down and see if they want to join me, and they can take over the stream. So if like Can wishes to get in here, he can. I'm gonna take a walk. I think is what I want to do. Walk. The thing to do is to walk. So that's my battle plan. So we're gonna give him a second or two to see if anybody says anything. I'm not thinking anything through. So, all right. Well, I'm going to head out then. Not seeing anybody responding over there. So, on the thread. So, I'm going to go on ahead and cut the stream and head on out. And I will see you all tonight after Geek Tank. And remember to keep your eyes on the stars, guys. Bye bye.